Hello, everyone. It's a rainy day here. We've had been rainy, had been having rainy days, and with the gazebo up now, was a unique problem we suddenly had with a window that's behind it, and if it would rain and the rain would come down from the roof of the gazebo, it would hit that window and it kind of flooded the inside of the room. And kind of going, what? How's that even possible? Ooh, that's a bad window. And so we tried to figure out on what to do about it. So we pulled the gazebo out a little bit from the wall. And then, what else? We thought about putting up a tarp. We ended up putting up a gutter on that side. Yes, we'll see. But the one thing was, I'm going to go and check if that window is actually closed. And it's in my son in law's office. And I went in and I'm looking and I'm going, that one window isn't closed all the way. So I tried to close it all the way. It has these little clips, where you open them up and you open this one up and then you can push up the window. And they were only halfway closed. So I tried to close them all the way and it didn't work. And I'm looking at the window, I'm looking at the left one and then at the right one. The left one's closed and I'm going to say, wow, something's really odd. There's something off about the top part of the window. And I couldn't get the piece to go in all the way, to clip all the way in and tighten up the window. So I had to I realized I said, if I force it, I'm going to break these. They're just plastic, and it's old plastic on top of that. And so I went and got some scissors, and I pried the top part of the window higher up so it would align with the left-hand side. And sure enough, then I could slip it in. And I did the same on the other side. There were two of them. And then the window was tight. You could tell, whoop, now it's tight. It's just rained. I don't know how much. And it's completely dry inside. Yeah. Sometimes to a big problem, it seems, right? There is a very simple solution if one just checks out everything. The simplest things first. Anyway, problem solved, right? Yes, yeah. Then my son came to visit just for a few minutes before he had to go to work. He was here a few days ago for the birthday party, and we talked, and I said, yeah, I need to get some Tiger Balm. I really like that better than the Vapor Rub. And looked for it. I've looked for it in a couple of stores and couldn't find it, so I guess you have to order it online. And told my daughter about it, and she kind of forgot, I guess, again, which is fine. She has a lot on her mind. And here yesterday, so we talked about Tiger Balm because he'd been sick, and he says, "Oh, I have some. I have some at home. I use that too." And he comes, and yesterday, and he brings me his little jar of Tiger Balm, and says, "Here, Mom, you need that more than I do," and it was so sweet. That was so sweet. Oh my gosh, just comes by to bring me that. And I thought, man, that's what filial piety feels like. Yes? When you receive that as a parent, that's what that feels like to me. Yes? Yeah. Anyway, so, yep. And the pool's a big hit. Yeah, that's a big hit. It's not a large pool, but it's enough that one can swim in it a little bit, like cruise around, especially for the kids. And yeah, it's just been great. So another day in paradise. All my stuff's growing amazingly out there. And today I'm going to make some. I saw a recipe some guy that made bok choy kimchi. And I'm going to try that. I already got the bok choy, so I'm going to try that this time. I'm going to try it with bok choy. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yes. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I had infused comfrey in oil, in olive oil, and mostly in rubbing alcohol, because that makes a great remedy for any kind of infection. It pulls out the infection of anything, and it's just great for bee stings and all kinds of stuff on your skin. Yeah, you can't. You got to be careful. You got to find out, are you allergic to rubbing alcohol? Yep, but if not, that's a great way to treat wounds and stuff. Anywho, so there is that. I made that, and then I made a salve. I made a comfrey. It was I had it infused in olive oil uh, for months now, and then yep, I drained that all out, and then added some suet. Yes, that's suet is fat around the liver of a cow, and amazing stuff to work with, and it's really good for one's skin. It's really amazing on how one's skin gets nice and soft with it. No reactions. Yeah. And then, I mean, side effects. And then I added some tea tree oil. And what else? There's something else. No, that's it. And then it became a nice salve. Yes. Again, amazing stuff for the skin. Yes, yeah, I love doing things like that. So I did all that yesterday. I got me quite a few jars of that, and two big bottles of the comfrey tincture, and I'm set for a while. Yes. Okay. And of course, if people want some, yep, I always give away. Yeah, I give away a lot of my stuff. I'm excited when people are excited about what I'm excited about. Yes. Okay, so let's get going here. 7-minute talk. Let's get going here in the book of Lamentations, the second lamentation. 2. Aleph. Again with the alphabet. Aleph. In his anger, with what darkness has the Lord enveloped the daughter of Sion? He has flung the beauty of Israel from heaven to the ground, without regard for his footstool on the day of his anger. Okay, I just said another day in paradise here. Right? I recognize that. Regardless of the work, regardless of the pain, regardless of whatever, it's another day in paradise. Yes? And I do know, too, who fought for that. But here, yep, it's like he has flung the beauty of Israel from heaven to the ground. But have the Israelites ever realized the beauty of heaven on earth? Weren't they just complainers? They complained, and then when things didn't go well enough, they would go back to the idols, and I don't know what. That's what we're being told here. It may not have been quite like that, though. But that's what we're being told. Right? So if one never really recognizes heaven on earth, then how can it be trampled around anywhere? Right? Yes? Or is it always that, when suddenly the consequences hit, then one realizes what one had? That's so ignorant, isn't it? And self-serving. And hypocritical, isn't it? I'd say so. All right. So again, pull God into it all, just to what? Lay the blame somewhere, except for looking oneself in the mirror, right? Bet the Lord pitilessly engulfed all the homes of Jacob in his fury. He tore down the fortresses of the daughter of Judah. He threw to the ground. He desecrated the kingdom and its princes. Again, why is it always about kings and princes that God so, right? Yeah? That's it? As if? So they acknowledge at least that God's above them, but then they are it. They're the ones are always mentioned. The princes and the kings and the queens. What about the common people? As if God, what? Looks down on them? They're not worth mentioning? I'm just saying. In his Gimel, In his burning anger, he broke all the might of Israel, withdrew his protecting right hand at the coming of the enemy, and blazed against Jacob like a fire that burns up everything near it. Dalet, like an enemy, he bent his bow, and his right hand held firm. Like a foe, he slaughtered all those who were a delight to see. On the tent of the daughter of Sion, he poured out his fury like fire. Hey, the Lord behaved like an enemy. He engulfed Israel. The Lord behaved like an enemy. You know what they weren't scared to say of? They were not scared to say anything, were they? I mean, here I thought the fear of the Lord and and be scared, fear the Lord. Does that sound like anybody feared the Lord here? The Lord behaved like an enemy. I would never, ever, in my wildest dreams, think of that. My heavenly parent is my enemy, no matter what happens to me. He engulfed Israel. He engulfed all its citadels. He destroyed its fortresses, and for the daughter of Judah multiplied weeping and wailing. I said, if one just thinks a little bit about what we're reading here, one starts to understand, wow, this is very self-serving. Whoever wrote this down was very self-serving to oneself and not willing to change. Wow. He wrecked his domain like a garden, destroyed his assembly points. Yahweh erased the memory of the festivals and Sabbaths in Sion. In the heat of his anger, he treated king and priest with contempt. Zion. The Lord has rejected his altar. He has come to loathe his sanctuary, and has given her palace walls into the clutches of the enemy. From the uproar they made in Yahweh's temple, it might have been a festival day. Het. Yahweh has resolved to destroy the walls of the daughter of Zion, stretching out the line, not staying his hand until he has engulfed everything. Thus bringing mourning on wall and rampart alike, they crumbled. I don't even want to read this. I keep stumbling over the words just because I loathe them so much. Tet. Her gates have sunk into the ground. He has broken and shattered their bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. There is no instruction. Furthermore, her prophets cannot find any vision from Yahweh. Yod. Mute they sit on the ground, the elders of the daughter of Zion. They have put dust on their heads and wrapped themselves in sackcloth. The young girls of Jerusalem bow their heads to the ground. Kaf. My eyes are worn out with weeping. On top of that, this nonsense is making me cough. My inmost being is in ferment. My heart plummets at the destruction of my young people, as the children and babies grow faint in the streets of the city. Yeah, well, now you worry. Lamed. They keep saying to their mothers, where is some food, as they faint like wounded men in the streets of the city, as they breathe their last on their mothers' breasts. Mem. To what can I compare or liken you, daughter of Jerusalem? Who can rescue and comfort you, young daughter of Zion? For huge as the sea is your ruin, who can heal you? None. The visions your prophets had for you were deceptive whitewash. They did not lay bare your guilt, so as to change your fortunes. The visions they told you were deceptive. Samek. All who pass your way clap their hands at the sight. They whistle and shake their heads over the daughter of Jerusalem. Is this the city they call perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole world? Okay. Pay. Your enemies open their mouths in chorus against you. They whistle and grind their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. This is the day we were waiting for. At last we have seen it. I wonder why there would be such, again, so there's a lot of animosity coming from the outside. Why? Why is that? How offensive were the Israelites to everyone else around them? And in what way? They don't mention that, do they? Yeah? Yes? But there has to be a reason. Interesting. Yeah? Interesting to think of that. Ein. Yahweh has done what he planned. really, has carried out his threat, as he ordained long ago. He has destroyed without pity, increasing the might of our foes, and letting your foes get the credit. Sade, cry then to the Lord, rampart of the daughter of Sion. Let your tears flow like a torrent, day and night. Allow yourself no respite, give your eyes no rest. Cough. Up, cry out in the night time as each watch begins. Pour your heart out like water in Yahweh's presence. Raise your hands to him for the lives of your children who faint with hunger at the end of every street. Resh, look, Yahweh, and consider, whom have you ever treated like this? Should women eat their little ones, the children they have nursed? Should priests and prophets be slaughtered in the Lord's sanctuary? The audacity, whoever wrote this. Did you guys just hear this? Why did it come to this? If it came to that. The accusations against God, that's an accusation against God right here. Right? Yes? Ooh, manipulation. Call it manipulation. Shen, children and old people are lying on the ground in the streets. My young men and young girls have fallen by the sword. You have killed them on the day of your anger. You have slaughtered them pitilessly. Ta. As though to a festival you called together terrors from all sides, so that on the day of Yahweh's anger none escaped and none survived. Those whom I had nursed and reared, my enemy has annihilated them all. Wow. Okay, that's the end of 2. Hey, yay, 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 yay. It's interesting on how I started out with the story of my son coming and bringing me, right? Yes, even though he was sick too, and anyway, you know what? I don't know why it is so hard for people to just be a little more humble when it comes to their own personal problems or the family problems, and honestly look and go, yeah, As a parent, sometimes I think, yeah, I should have done that a little bit different uh, with certain things that I let my children have too early on, like a car, for example, and there are some other things that I felt, yeah, I should have done that a little different. I was kind of roped in by society, peer pressure, I don't know what, and of course the love for my children. That then I let some things slide that I should have really put my foot down. I mean, to the point where it's either or, right? Yes, but it didn't. And there were some consequences to that. So what? But I prayed for my children. I mean, I really prayed for my children. And then say, well, God didn't take care of them. Or spirit world, the angels around them didn't take care of them. I'm going to have to look at myself and say, yeah, that was my fault. Yeah. And no doubt, our Heavenly Parent, God, looks at, even today, mankind and goes, yeah, I guess some things could have gone different, right? If I would have put my foot down. Well, isn't destroying the whole city, isn't putting your foot down? And no parent will destroy their own children like that. That's not, no. Then I'm better than God? I would never do that, regardless. Just saying. I'm not better than God. No, nowhere near it. But there's such a thing like freedom of will. So what are you going to do, right? Can't. And once our children are adults, yes, then again, there's that freedom of will. But I don't have to be a part of that freedom of will if I don't want to anymore, right? Yes, my responsibilities as a parent of a minor until they're 18. Then after 18, that's over. I don't have to. No, I can support them. But I can also say, well, I wouldn't do that if I were you. But hey, you know what? Freedom of will. You go ahead, you do what you want, but those will be your consequences, right? Yes. Well, anyway. But before that, yes, yeah. Anyway, one could talk about that for a long time. Then I saw something else, just real quick. That's already at 20. Maybe I'll save that for the next one. Yeah, I'll save that for the next one. This is a long enough one. All right, that's it. That's all I have to say. Yes. Once again, I'd like to remind everyone that's watching, I'm doing this for the reputation of God, our Heavenly Parent. Yes. I do not believe that God would ever, 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 ever destroy a whole people like that just because He's angry because they're not doing what He wants them to do. Whatever happened there, however way it happened, yes, is usually because of consequences to the behavior of the people. Right? Yes, it's just it. But it has nothing to do with God. Absolutely nothing. Yes. The interesting part about all this, what I found in my life, my whole entire life, that anytime I am on the right path, on the straight path, on the heavenly path of life on earth, then I'm embraced by all kinds of heavenly blessings, earthly blessings. Yes, and it's always been that way, which just proves that God can only be a part of your life if you are on the side of goodness. Done. Yes. All right. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you, guide you, and embrace you with love. Eldridge, my dearest brother in faith, good news. Yes. Let's keep praying. It's important, right? Yes. Keep praying. Father's prayers, please. They're important. They're making a big splash out there right now in when it comes to the spiritual realm on earth. Yes. Yeah. So let's keep doing that. And I will talk to you all another time.